Alrighty, so we are going to be playing with the Kylie Peach palette. I am so excited about this palette because this is my first palette from the Kylie Cosmetics line, and when I seen these colors I just knew I had to get them. I also wanted to get the burgundy palette, but I was like, you know what, let me try this palette first and really play with it, see how the colors blend out, see if it's even worth it for me to get another palette. So I thought this palette would be absolutely gorgeous to play with. I am so excited to create a look with this palette. I also am going to include swatches in this video. It also comes with a brush, which I'm super excited to use. It looks really nice. It looks like almost a MAC 217 brush, or like the Morphe brush that I always use. So pretty high hopes for this palette, so I hope I'm not disappointed. So what I'm going to do first is just go ahead and prime my lids with my Essence I Love Stage eyeshadow primer. So first off, I'm going to take my big blending brush from Wet n Wild. This is the brush I use all the time, and I'm going to go in with let's see. So we're going to jump in with this peach color first off right here, and this one is called Dupe, if I have it right. And I'm just going to put this right in my crease, just as like our transition shade. Very smooth. The pigment is definitely buildable, which I like in these kind of colors, because really you just want a shadow of it. You don't want like a super intense peach shade, or at least that's not what I'm going for today. Really pretty, blends really well. So far so good with one color. This big mirror inside this palette, it comes in handy. I love that I have that color built up. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Kylie brush. I like the rose gold of it. Oh, it's very fluffy. Oh, this seems really similar, this shape and the size, to the MAC 217, which is one of my favorite brushes. I'm going to jump into this peachy tone right now, and then I might just throw this darker peachy toned one right in my crease. I'm going to go with that orangey one first. These are like my kind of shades. And I'm going to go a little bit lower in my outer corner. Ooh, very pretty. Super pigmented. With colors like these, usually when you're picking them up and blending them out, not as much pigment gets picked up. If any of you guys tried the Kylie Cosmetics makeup line, or is there anything that you've tried that you don't like, or how about the other eyeshadow palettes? Let me know if you guys like those. Okay, so now I'm gonna jump into this darker shade that I was talking about before, and I'm gonna keep this on the outer corner of my crease. I like these shades so far because when I'm picking up the shadow, there's really not a ton of fallout. Like you guys can see, there's literally barely any. So I'm going to keep this right here in my outer corner. I don't know what I was expecting. I was hoping this palette would be good because it was like $45, I think. So I was hoping it would be good, but I'm super impressed right now with the quality, the way they blend out, the smoothness of them. They're super pigmented. I am super impressed by them right now. So I'm going to go back in with my Wet n Wild brush, no extra product on it, and I'm just going to buff out the edges with whatever peach color is left on it. Okay, so I think I would want to go in with this metallic gold shade right here. It looks really pretty, and the way it swatches kind of is like that rose gold look, if you guys can see that. So I think I want to play with this shade, kind of put that all over my lid. I'm wondering if I'm going to need to wet my brush, I'm not sure. So let's just see how this works just by picking up the product alone. I'm going to go in with my MAC 239 brush, one of my favorite just like flat crease brushes, and we're going to pick this shade up. Ooh. Do you guys see that? There's not a lot of color payoff and it's coming off extremely like splotchy. I don't know if you guys can even see any of that coming off. I'm gonna try picking it up with my finger even though it came off a little bit chunky and just see how this works out. Okay, it's not bad, but it's not the best either. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I'm gonna pick up the shade again with my MAC 239 brush. And I'm gonna wet my brush actually just to see if that kind of makes a difference. Because this is what I end up doing with a lot of my shadows anyway, is spraying them down just to really get the pigmentation out of them. So let's just see how this works out. This worked so much better, guys. So much better. Now it's more foiled, it's sticking, a lot more pigmented. So now going into this palette, now I'll know to kind of wet the shadow, especially the more metallic-y ones, to really get the color payoff that I want. So I picked up some more. I'm gonna go ahead and spray my brush for the other eye, because just by picking it up alone, it just wasn't doing anything. There was like hardly any pigment coming off, and it was super patchy too. I so far really like this color. I feel like it definitely goes along with the peach theme, really brings out my eyes, I feel like. So we had a little bit of trouble with it at first, but if you use it wet, so much better than using it dry. So I'm just gonna go back in with this shade right here that I last used, and I'm gonna use a Kylie brush, which I really like, and I'm just going to blend out my crease a little bit more now that we've applied that shimmery shade. I just want to even everything out. This palette doesn't have like a brow bone shade that I can use to highlight my brow bone. So I'm gonna go in with just a plain matte shade. This is Tempera from the Modern Renaissance palette. And I'm just gonna take this just to highlight my brow bone in just a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish up the rest of my face, and then I will be back to give you guys my final thoughts on the palette and to let you guys know if I think if it's worth the money or not. So I will be back. Alrighty guys, so I finished up the rest of my face, and I just wanted to let you guys know I just threw on some black eyeliner, some lashes. So all I did with the rest of my eyes is I just ran that orangey color literally on my lower lash line. That's all I did, and then I just put on some mascara. Nothing in my inner corner. For this highlight, what I used was my MAC Oh Darling highlight, one of my all-time favorites. I just kind of wanted to give you guys like my final thoughts or my opinion on this palette. Do I think this is a pretty palette? Absolutely. I love the packaging. The cardboard is very sturdy, and the huge mirror, I have to say, is absolutely gorgeous. I love really how big this palette is. For some reason, I just really like that. The color selection is beautiful. I have to say that the brush that came with it worked awesome. And you know, sometimes when you get a free brush or like one of those sponge brushes, you end up like throwing them out or losing them because they're not that great. This brush I can see myself definitely continuing to use, so I'm super happy with the quality of this brush. As for the shadows, I have to say that I feel like the matte shadows definitely were the best part of this palette so far. I do absolutely love this color that I used on my lid. I thought that turned out gorgeous. Since this is the only shade that I used that was part of this metallic color line in this palette, I feel like just by itself it didn't do enough for me. Like there was no really pigmentation. You could see it, but it was still like, even if I swatch it, I showed you guys how it was a little bit chunky. I feel like you would definitely have to wet your brush and wet this pigment for it to turn out really nice and foiled. Now I am super excited to continue to play with these other foiled shades in the shades in this palette. Overall, I thought it was a really pretty palette. And I definitely think it's different. I feel like I don't have a palette that's set like this just by itself in my collection. It is definitely a unique palette that I don't have very similar shades to this in just in one palette. Do I feel like it's a necessity to have in everyone's collection? Probably not, because maybe some people won't use like this olive green or a dark blue like this. But it is a really pretty palette, so I feel like if you're a beauty junkie like me and you just love trying out new palettes and you feel like you have to have it, I definitely feel like it is worth the money. It's really pretty, unique, and I feel like once you work with the metallic shades, you can really get somewhere. If you guys want to see more tutorials only using this palette, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if this is a palette that you guys would want to buy in the comments down below. In my opinion, it is super pretty, and I was really impressed with it. Even though I had to work with this one shade a little bit, it definitely was worth it because it turned out absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you guys liked this video and found it helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys did, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys all in my next video.